Now that we have Xcode installed, let's go ahead and open it up. So let's go to the Finder. And Xcode, the developer tools are installed under the root of your hard drive, under Developer, under Applications, and there you'll find Xcode. So let's go ahead and drag this to our dock, just for easy reference later. And let's click it to launch it. Now this is the first thing that will come up when Xcode is launched. Let's go ahead and cancel this, because I want to set a few preferences first. So you can get to preferences from two different ways. Most applications on the Mac are this way. You can go to the name of the application down to preferences, and you can see right there that there's a shortcut, Command, comma, and that will pull up preferences in nearly every application on the Mac. So click that. And the first option you'll see here on the General tab is the layout. I prefer the all-in-one style, but you can play around with this and choose the default or condensed. The editing, I open counterparts in the same editor and automatically open and close attached editor. I choose not to have reopen projects on Xcode launch, but there again, that's a choice that you can make if you'd like to have that happen. And then restore the state of auxiliary windows. So we'll go ahead and click on CodeSense. Now I'm not going to be going into great detail through every aspect of the Xcode preferences, just some of the things that I've changed in my setup that you may want to be aware of. So under CodeSense, there's really nothing I've changed. Building, the only thing I change is ask before building. I always check always save. That way it doesn't pop up a window every time I want to build a project asking me if I want to save the files. Another thing that could be handy is changing the place build products in. If you would like to put all of your builds into one central location, you can click this right here and choose where you'd like to put those. That's a nice feature. And the same thing with build intermediate files. You come down here, open during builds. You can set this to open the results window, always, never. I normally leave these the same. Distributed builds. This is only if you're working on probably large projects, or you're working on a fairly slow machine and you have other machines in your office or your home, and you can share the load with compiling that source across multiple computers. Now to do this, they all have to be the same operating system, the same version of Xcode. If it's a PowerPC, they have to all be PowerPCs. If they're Intel, they have to all be Intels. So the next thing is debugging, and I leave these all to the default settings. If you'd like to see different font colors, you can come over here and change for the console, for the prompt, the input, the output, the executable standard input and output, and you can set the font and the color for that. Key bindings, if you'd like to add more options to your key bindings, you can change those. Under text editing, the only thing I change is show line numbers in the gutter. And fonts and colors, I always change this and I make a copy to a darker color. So basically how you would do that is you would say duplicate over here on the right hand side. You would set another name, and then once you had the name, you would select that and then change your colors and your fonts. So how I do it is I select all of the fonts that I want to change. I just highlight the whole thing. I double click on that. It opens up the fonts panel. I choose the font that I want and I set the size. And then each individual color as well can be set. Under indentation, I always set automatically inserts closing brace so that I don't have to do that on my own. I make sure all of these are selected, and I believe that is it. So let's click OK, and then we'll get started.